Hi, everybody. It's 6:01. I'd like to call this meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals to order. First, I'd like to get an approval of the agenda.
I'd like to move to approve the agenda.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. So tonight's public hearing is an application for a special permit, home occupation for Lina Tiernan. Am I pronouncing that right? Lina, okay. So I will read the public hearing notice. Public hearing notice, the Ayer ZBA will conduct a public hearing at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, March 15th, 2017 at the Ayer Town Hall, located at 1 Main Street, Ayer, Mass. 01432, regarding the application of Lina Tiernan, 229 Old Farm Way, Ayer, Mass. 01432. Applicant seeks special permit pursuant to Ayer Zoning Board Bylaw Table 4.4, Section 1.5, to allow for a home occupation permit for hair salon. It was advertised February 24th, 2017, and March 3rd, 2017. If you guys would like to come up. All right, if you'd just like to give us a little bit of background on why you think we should grant the special permit, that'd be great.
Okay, so
You guys can have a seat if you want, or you can stand, whatever you
Yeah, either way.
yeah. So in this room, some people know me, Lina Tiernan, and because we are neighbor. So I live and my family live at 229 Old Farm Way.
Mm-hmm.
So I was forced to give up my successful salon in Devon because of my multiple myeloma cancer diagnosed in January 2016.
Okay.
So my doctor told me because of the stress running a business, it's too much for me and it would be not good for my bone. So when I stand up a lot, it hurt my back. So that's the reason why I want to stay, to keep my mind busy off my disease. So I decided to cut hair in my home for the small number of the hundreds of the former client I had. Mm-hmm. So these people was who have become to close friends over a year and want to help me. I was doing this in my entryway in our home since beginning of November. So near the end of January, my husband decided it would be easy for me to have a small room in my basement so where I could leave the chair and play. But not long after that, it happened. We received a letter from the town telling us there's had been complaint about the dumpster and 17 cars in front of our house. So we must be running our business. So here we are. I am alone in that room. So no way I can cut 17 people's hair. Mm-hmm. I can have one at a time. But when I was healthy and owned my salon, I still couldn't cut 17 people's hair at a time on a day. So there shouldn't be more than one or maybe two cars in our driveway at the time that belong to people getting their hair cut. We do have many friends that visit for various reasons. So at that time, there can be several cars near our home, and there would be for anyone who has friend visit. And again, I am not 10 and not looking for the new client. Mm-hmm. I am not hanging any side or will not advertise in any way. I do picture of my work on Facebook, and I do every meal that I cook for my family for fun. I am looking forward to keep my mind busy doing something I enjoy, to be close with my family, spend time with my friend, and be home where I can be rest when the pain is too so much. Mm-hmm. And thank you for listening.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
This was never intended as a business. This was strictly a way for Lina to be, she had to give up her business. This was a way for her to be at home with her family, do something that she enjoys. As she said, spend time with her friends. There's no profit here. There's no money being made. We never intended to be a business. We're here because of the complaint, and we came and talked to someone here, and they said that this was what we had to do. Okay. So that's why we're here. We never intended to open a business in the house.
Got it. All right. Well, with that said, I mean, I'd open it up to you guys. I'd say on my end, first off, I took a ride by your house, and when I looked at the bylaw that actually talks about the situation that you guys are in, so like you do have to be awarded a special permit by the zoning board. Some of the notes for a home occupation, like you said, you're not going to have any signage. So the note here says, no external evidence other than the announcement sign and any parking required by Article 6, which I'll get to in a minute, and having acceptable probable effects on the existing use in terms of noise, traffic, or related impacts. Now, in terms of the parking, I can get into that really quick. So
one for each employee, and there aren't going to be any.
Yep.
And one for each customer.
Exactly.
Or one for a customer.
Right. And again, having taken a ride by your house, it would appear that there's plenty of parking.
Yeah, we can fit eight cars in our driveway.
Easily, yeah. But I'd like to open it up to you guys before we open it up for public opinion.
I prefer to hear public opinion
Okay.
at this point.
Sure. Likewise,
Glad
Ron?
you
Okay.
went over the conditions.
Yep. All right, well, with that, then I guess I will open it up to public opinion. Just so you know, raise your hand. We'll go to you one by one. Just give us your name and address before you begin. Yes, sir.
My name's William Adamson. I live at 34 Partridge Run. Obviously, you've gone over the parking already.
Yep.
Before I say anything here, I don't want this to pit neighbors against neighbors. I don't want the Tiernans to think ill of me, my family, that we're, out to get them or anything like that.
Yep.
We're just looking out for our family and friends, and I'm very sorry about her illness. I don't wish that upon anybody. But basically, I just made some notes about the major points, and I prioritized them. It's number one is public safety and traffic. I know that they say they can fit 8 cars in their driveway, but obviously this came to the attention of other neighbors in our neighborhood who came to us at one point and said, hey, what's going on here? Because cars are parked on both sides of the street and cars are parked in the driveway as well. My main concern is it's wintertime now. People tend to stay dormant inside, whatever. But in the summertime, this development has a lot of kids. They're riding their bikes all over the place. There's 2 bus stops there as well. There's Hickory at Old Farm Way, and then there's Partridge at Old Farm Way. So you run into that issue. Another issue is people in town, on the other side of town, like Sandy Pond Road, that area, use Old Farm Way as a cut through already. Yep. There's tons of traffic as it is. They cut through, they go Hickory to get to 110. Mm-hmm. That adds to the issue, I think. After this was brought to my attention by neighbors, there was one time that I noticed there was probably about 6 cars in the driveway, and there was a BMW SUV that was extending partially into the road. Yeah. The big thing is the public safety and the traffic. I don't agree with there is adequate parking because of the issues that I've said. Mm-hmm. The other thing is we live on a cul-de-sac, Partridge Run, so people will come down there and turn around to reacclimate themselves so they can park on the street or whatnot. Yep. So that affects us. I hit on the bus stops. I feel like you're opening Pandora's box if you allow this special permit. This is a residential zone only. Whether it's for profit, whether they're not getting paid or anything, there's still a lot of traffic coming and going. I just think if you do it for one, you're going to have a lot of people that see this and see it as an opportunity to do something else. Somebody that wants to do repair work on vehicles, motorcycles, whatever, in their driveway, and they say the caveat that they're doing it for their friends, whatever. People that own tow truck operating companies that do stuff like that. Is there a reason why you're shaking your head, Mr.
Point of clarification. This gentleman's a police officer. He mentions public safety. Come down my street. He parks on the sidewalk where a child, a handicapped person, a mother with a stroller can't traverse. Okay. He's got a nerve. Right. In all due respect.
All right.
Am I right or wrong?
All right.
It has nothing to do with
Listen.
You don't park on the sidewalk?
Hold on. Right, but
please.
that specifically, Mr. Anderson, parking and sidewalk, nothing to do with tonight.
No, but he's talking about public safety.
Well,
He's got a concern for public
as
safety.
you said,
This gentleman parks his
okay.
truck.
All right.
And his friends do it also.
Okay,
Why
well,
don't we let him finish? so
right,
we
exactly,
can
and
talk to him?
it's that has nothing to do with what we're talking about tonight.
Public safety.
But please
Thank you.
continue.
So that's it. And then also, I just want to bring up the Facebook page. There are pricing on there, so I don't know that it says book now.
Mm-hmm.
My concern is that it is going beyond just a small group of friends. That's it.
Okay.
And I'm just going to end it with this. I was born and raised in this town.
Yep.
I moved away, lived in Lowell for a little bit. I probably would have never moved back to town if it hadn't been for the development we live in. There's a lot of good that has come out of this development.
Sure.
There's not many local people, not many people born and raised in this town that live there that bring fresh perspective, fresh ideas to this town that live there. And I think that another issue is you're going to offend them, but you're also going to be detracting from people who want to do future business real estate transactions that want to sell. If they find out that there's a business, regardless of how small it is, that may drive down property value. That may drive down interest in people selling their properties in our development.
Okay.
So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
One thing, as far as the pricing is talking about, that was from when my wife worked at a store. That has nothing to do with
Okay.
what's happening.
Okay.
The other thing was there's also an address of 70 Park Street listed. I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
but I used to work there. I
That's
used to
right.
work there.
That's where she worked.
Bill.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
And,
what that's.
and another thing about the traffic, you talking about the traffic in the bus. I don't ever take anybody in around the bus time. Like always around in 10 or 11, that's the kids off on the bus already in the school. So if you telling me that because of that cost, because the kids on the bus side, I have kids go to the school too. I know how the safety way for my kid.
Anyone else? Yes, sir. This gentleman in the back first.
David Gordon, 9 Partridge Run. I also have an issue with a permit for a business. There is active advertising. Maybe there doesn't mean to be, and maybe that's going to end, and that would be good. I don't know if this is intended to be a business. We did receive a letter from Mark that indicated it was not. If it is a hobby, I don't even know, and you can answer it for me, if they need a business permit. But the issuing of the business permit would set a dangerous precedent for a residential neighborhood, because other businesses then would also be coming down and applying and using this as justification for it. And I think that does open a Pandora's box and is a problem. But if it is as limited as Mark said in his letter about, a few friends and family, then again, I don't know if that constitutes a business, and if we need to issue a business permit, as far as I'm concerned, that would be none of my business. But starting a business is a different story. And from what I can see today, and hopefully, Mark's sincere and everything he says is accurate, the advertising would end, the traffic problems would end. But right now, the volume of cars that we see, whether they're all business related or not, implies that there's a business being run from that location. And I would feel much more comfortable if there was not, and it was more limited in the scope as what they indicate their intentions are.
That's one of the problems with this whole thing, is this implies. As I said, we have friends that come over. And so does everybody in the neighborhood. And there'll be 10 cars in front of their house or 20 cars in front of their house. And as Lena told you, she can only cut one person's hair. She can't, there's no reason for her to have 5 cars there. It would be ridiculous. First of all, the room that she's in is the size of a bathroom.
Right.
You can't fit 3 people in it.
Right, and I see this from both perspectives here. I have a cousin who lives in that development, and I have a huge family, so there could be 8 cars in front of his house on any given day. Having said that, you guys do also have to understand, though, that for your neighbors, this is a unique situation.
No, I do, and I do understand it, but what the point I'm trying to make is, whether she has someone in there cutting hair or not, that one car or two car is not gonna make a difference to what's happening in that neighborhood. It doesn't make a difference to the people coming from Sandy Pond that use that as a thoroughfare. And that happens all times of the day when there's kids at the bus stop, when there are kids at the bus stop. We have no control over that.
Yeah, I
And lots of
tend to
people,
agree.
that development isn't on a GPS, or most GPSs. A lot of people come up there, and they don't know where they are, and they turn around and in all the streets and to get out of the neighborhood.
Right. I mean, it's only a cut through if you're from Ayer. But that's the way I would define it. It's a bit of a labyrinth unless you know where you're going. If you know where you're going,
That's
it's a great.
right.
If
And
you know where you're going,
that's-
it's a great
And
cut
especially because
through.
it's not on the GPS, people will come up, they'll come up there looking for something, and they get lost. So they
Yeah.
turn around, and they turn around in front of the Gordon's house. Some
That's
of them.
not-
They turn
That's
around,
not the case, honestly. I've seen them.
they turn around.
Can I get your name, ma'am?
I'm Renee Gordon, I live at.
They turn around in front of other people's houses, they turn around in other cul-de-sacs. It's a neighborhood of cul-de-sacs.
This is what they were doing, and I saw this repeatedly for a couple weeks. It was very heavy traffic. I have no idea why, and I didn't care, honestly. But people were coming from a different direction, turning, turning onto Partridge Run, backing out and pulling in front of their house and parking and going into the house. Okay? Right there is a bus stop. I don't care whether she has customers coming. What happens if it's a half day? All right? People were turning in the street. That's not right. The traffic's heavy. There's a four-way stop. I would say 75% to 80% of the people run those stop signs. And more traffic is just not going to be helpful there. That's a really bad intersection because no one pays attention to those stop signs.
And if they have a driveway that accommodates 8 and they have 8 friends over, the
Why
fact
are
that
they
there's
parking
two,
in the street?
if there's 2 cars for business, those cars have to overflow into the street. So, I understand that maybe not all the cars are related to the business, but if you take the cars from their personal life and add it to the cars for the business exacerbates the
Okay. Anybody else have any comments?
Yeah, I'm
Yes,
Paul
sir.
Friel, I live at 214, just almost directly across the street.
Okay.
Question, what are the terms of a special permit?
If we grant this special permit, Ms. Tiernan would be allowed to operate, her hair
Business?
cutting business from her house.
No,
So you're calling it a business?
Well, it's a home occupation, so she would be allowed to cut hair from her home.
but would there be any specific terms? For instance, no one would be allowed to charge a fee.
I don't believe so. I believe she'd be allowed to charge a fee.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
So then it's a business.
So now, another question. Can this permit be transferred?
Carly, truthfully, I'm not certain on that, sir. Jess, go ahead.
What I was reading is that earlier was licenses are given for a salon, they're not transferable to another address. I think you have to go through a licensure thing again.
Okay.
Thank you, Jess.
So, in addition, back to the terms, what precludes any additional type of business? Type of, can a pedicure happen?
I don't know, to be honest with you, sir. I mean, in the case here, right? Obviously, she wants to cut hair.
Yeah.
If she decided, if she had employees, that would, I would imagine, change things here, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is a home occupation.
This is what my concern is, that I haven't got a big problem with what's going on.
Mhm.
I do have a problem with what could go on. And that's why I'm concerned about what gets written into this special permit. And it needs to be carefully done.
Okay, Carly.
So the board could put conditions on it as far as number of cars, hours of operation, but also, there's another component, because it's a hair salon, there's also a state licensure process. That's totally separate from us. If any hairdresser has a license from the
Sure.
state. So that's totally separate from this meeting, but they could put conditions on the special permit as far as number of cars.
Well, the number of cars is already defined.
Yeah, that's already defined.
But that's not, okay, I'm Eileen Freilich, I'm right across the street, 214 Old Farm Way. Number of cars, everything else. This is it's a residential zoning. So you're already calling it, nodding, a business. And to me, that's very scary, because I don't know, is someone else gonna come up and use this as a precedent and say,
Well,
okay,
it
I
would-
just walk dogs for
It's on a
while,
case-by-case
no.
basis, so,
Exactly, but I'm sorry, it's a case-by-case basis, but if something is granted, it says, yeah, this is an option. And that's very scary to me.
Carly?
This is our home. If we want to put this up for sale, that's very scary if there's any kind of a deal where there's a business going on there.
So in any neighborhood in town, and it's defined in the zoning bylaw, if you want to run a home occupation, it is allowed with a special permit. It's not disallowed, it's with a special permit. So feasibly, yeah, in your neighborhood, someone could say, oh, I'm an accountant and I have clients coming into my house, I need a special permit. How we deal with it in Ayer is because after the recession, there was all these startup in-home companies, basically just working off the internet, had a website. Those folks don't need a home occupation because they're not having people into their home. That's where we, as officials draw the line. But yeah, feasibly anywhere in town where it's not allowed by right, you could do it with a special permit. So like when Michael's saying it's a case-by-case basis, unfortunately it is. But that's how the bylaws are in right now. Just so you're aware.
So people could open a business anywhere with a special permit.
If it's not already allowed by right. So that's why we have different zones, and if you read the zoning bylaws, so is this what, A1?
Yep.
So then A2, then we have light industrial, heavy industrial. So each section has allowed uses, which you don't need any permit for. And then this other sections, there's things you can do, but with a special permit. So it depends on the zone.
Well, I guess I don't like the idea of a
Sure,
business
yep.
in a residential area. I think it hurts the value of our home, which is our life.
right. Now, again, I would say that in this situation, there's no signage allowed. It's not like Ms. Tiernan would be able to advertise. So if someone's driving through your neighborhood, if there were 3 cars in the driveway, they'd either say, potentially, well, a husband's at home and his 2 teen drivers are home. It's hard for someone driving through the neighborhood to discern whether or not those are clients of a business, personal vehicles. And again, I understand your concern and the increased traffic and everything, but when you drive through your neighborhood, you wouldn't know, if you don't live there, you wouldn't know that it's a business, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
And that's why you have these rules.
Partially,
That
yeah.
you can't have signs and you have to have a certain amount of parking, so that when people do drive through, they don't know it's a business.
Sir?
I am preparing to sell my home, and I'm working with a real estate agent. And the real estate agent asked me if I'd heard about this application. I told her I had. And she said that will definitely affect the value of your home, and you will be required to make that known. So it's not as though somebody can drive up and see cars and not make, I will be required to tell any potential buyer that there is a business operating across the street, a hairdresser operating across the street. And the real estate agent has advised me that will directly, adversely impact the value that I will be able to get for that home.
Okay.
Can I say something to?
Are you, where do you live?
Cross street, cross Partridge.
Across Partridge?
Yes, you spoke with me.
Oh.
Across
I
the
came over to
street.
see you yesterday, or a couple days ago.
I'm sorry.
Well, we're across the street.
I was thinking it was a house down the street. I didn't realize who it was.
Ms.
I
Tiernan?
have to say something too, because if they say, I don't advertise anything, like I say, because I can't handle a lot of people.
Sure.
I just have certain people that I enjoy to continue to taking care of. But in our neighborhood, if whoever in Pingree Hill website should know, I'm not the only one doing here. There's a lot, at least I know 3 people, they doing business and they advertise on our neighborhood
Facebook.
and
Sure.
Facebook, like Lola Rose, whatever, they sell clothes. So, but like I said,
I understand, but right now, they're not here. And I
I
understand what you're saying, but
That's okay.
if they have to come in front of us, they will. If they're running a business, they're going to have to get a special permit as well.
I think what we're talking about here, the LuLaRoes, and I don't sell LuLaRoes, nothing like that.
They're home
But the
parties.
people that are doing it, they go to their clients, which
no, they're not.
leads me into.
That's not true. I
Oh,
saw
okay.
they come to my house. I have every party is ready. So basically, they do their business in their house. But
They're
I'm
home
saying,
parties.
I don't want.
So what's the difference?
What the
But it's not.
difference?
It's not a daily thing. It's not the same
business.
place every day.
It's not business,
Yep.
it's a home
And it's
party.
not,
Everybody
another
used
thing
for
is
years.
charging for admission. I would think, charging for a service where it's a closed party. But the big difference with that is, if you're a LuLaRoe consultant, my sister-in-law is one, she goes to other people's homes. They don't come to her house, is the difference, I think that.
So it's like Tupperware.
Yeah, Tupperware.
So I just have 2 other points.
Sure.
I'm trying to find a solution here. Obviously, it's a problem, and I'm trying to help everybody out. The thing I thought of, well, if it's a small group of friends, why isn't it that Ms. Tiernan can't go to their residences and cut their hair there? The second thing, trying to think of what I was going to say. I forgot.
Take a minute. I'm
Yeah.
going to throw it to the board. Go ahead,
Can
sir.
I just add to that? I sort of threw out the question rhetorically earlier, but didn't actually ask for an answer. But if in fact it is limited to a few close friends and immediate family, I mean, it sounds to me
And
like-
some neighbors.
Okay. But I mean, it sounds like a very small number. I know there are IRS guidelines that determine whether something's a hobby or a business. Martha stated that it is not for profit. So if there is a limitation on this where it doesn't create a traffic problem, is this even necessary? Because I don't think anybody objects to her cutting a couple of people's hair. I mean, my son's girlfriend used to cut his hair in our house. I mean, that's not the issue. The issue is a business, and the issue is a lot of traffic, and the issue is, they say they don't advertise, but I can pull it up on my phone and show it to you right now. So, I mean, those are the issues for me. So, is a permit even necessary if it's that small, and how do we make sure it stays that
A
small?
permit is necessary for home occupation. It limits the number of cars, and no signage, and the number of people that you can have working in your home that are not residents.
So you can have employees.
Page 73.
Excuse me?
No employees.
Limits the people that will be working in your home, so you
6.1.
can have an employee in your house.
Yes, a home occupation permit allows up to 2 employees, non-family members.
There'd be no.
But I know
there'd be
how
no-
to avoid.
I know, I was answering the question about what permits allow. I understand in your case that that's not the issue.
So a permit is required even if it's not for profit and there's half a dozen friends of charity.
Well, I think in this case, it's been brought up that it's believed that Ms. Tiernan is, cutting more than what you would define as family and friends. If you think she's got a home occupation, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't believed she was operating a home
Money.
occupation.
It's-
I mean, we
Money
would...
makes it a home occupation.
Right, sure. Ma'am, go ahead.
I'm Kimberly Adamson. I live at 34 Partridge Run,
Mhm.
So if it's a home occupation, will it change their real estate taxes from residential to commercial? Because then that will totally affect
No.
us selling our house.
No, that would not, it won't change
And the
their,
other thing is, do
their
you guys have a
taxes.
copy of the Beaver Hill bylaws? We have bylaws in Beaver Hill because we have an HOA. So in the HOA.
I don't.
I'm pretty sure it says no home occupancy in our HOA association. Because we technically have an HOA in Cambridge.
So I don't know that that would be enforceable by the town, though.
So much as the HOA.
But when you live in the neighborhood, you create an HOA.
Right, but so then those HOAs, the town has no input on those. Those are between the association and the buyers. So like, an HOA would have come before like a town board, so like we couldn't enforce it.
I understand that.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
higher up.
Yeah.
It would be.
The board of directors of your HOA, I believe, would handle that.
Of the covenants and the,
Yeah.
which means.
And there must be a board of directors for the HOA?
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Everybody's in violation of the HOA.
okay.
I sent out, well, Lena sent out 20 letters to the butters.
Yep.
And I wanted to go around and personally talk to everyone I couldn't, a lot of people weren't home, so I left letters. But the people that I did talk to, that aren't here tonight, told me that they won't be coming to the meeting because they have no problem with what they're doing. They haven't seen any problems, and they're not going to come and object. I have letters from some of them in support. And so there's, there's, of the 20 people that got these letters, there are probably 4 or 5 people that come here. And by default, the people that didn't come here are saying, we don't object. And I have letters in support that people offered me, this was without solicitation, they offered to give me these letters. Now, I don't know how this thing is run. I would imagine that it's some type of a democratic thing where, where if the majority of the people that abut our property have no problem with this, and a few people do, then, and I spoke to these people too, as many as I could, and I assured them that, there are going to be cars at our house, because we do have a lot of people come over. Anybody that like, one person said that there was a car parked near the stop sign, so they couldn't see. And I didn't see that. And if it's someone at my house that creates any type of a hazard, I will tell them to move their car into the driveway. We are not there to create problems for anyone. All we want, and 95% of our neighbors understand that, all we want is for my wife to be able to stay active for as long as she can, be with her friends, and be home with her family. She can't be on her feet for long periods of time. If she cuts somebody's hair, she has to go lay down for half an hour. I mean, we are not trying to start something here that is going to grow. It's just not that way. And I truly can understand people being worried about some of these things. But they're just not real. They're not going to happen. As was already said, people use that road as a cut through. So there's already traffic there that if it's that bad, how is one car going to contribute to this? I don't see how one car makes the difference. 1 or 2 cars coming up that street, how does that change things? How does that change safety? If the problem is safety, and you're saying that it's already a cut through, then that is where the energy should be spent, is stopping all those people from cutting through. Not 1 or 2 cars that are coming to my house.
Totally in front of your house, from the beginning to the stop sign.
Cars parked in front of your house when there are people over there.
No, I'm just saying.
We just have more people.
It's a
Guys.
dangerous intersection.
Every day.
When you have people parked there during the day or all day long, you have 4 cars parked up front, right to the stop sign. That's right there is a bus stop.
Yep.
I don't care whether the kid's there or not, it's a bus stop. People come in and they do occasionally, unfortunately, my house is a fishbowl. I can see everything and everybody can see me. So when I look out the window, I can see everything happening. And it's not because I sit there and watch, it's because it's the way my windows are.
Sure.
The traffic is heavy there.
Okay.
Not every day, I know, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Sir.
My name's John Frere, I live at 98 Hickory Way. So I'm the corner lot that's like across from them. And I'll agree that traffic is picked up in the neighborhood. I think a big thing that has to do with the traffic picking up in the neighborhood is the fact that a whole big development was just finished and a whole bunch of people moved into it over on the side. There's going to be another development that's going up at the end of Hickory Way that they're working on too. I got to tell you, what I think she's doing is admirable. I do. Good for her for continuing on and trying to do something that she loves and keep working instead of just caving in and giving in and sitting back and trying to live off of other people. I agree completely that with what he said about it's. I get it. It's a business because they're taking in money, but the whole not-for-profit thing. You know what? I believe it because she cut my daughter's hair at her salon in Devon's before, and she was charging almost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's pretty much just covering her costs. When my daughter went there, went to another place before, it was nearly double that. They're a good family. I've met them. My daughter's good friends with one of their daughters. She uses the bus stop that's right there. I've never seen any sort of cars there during the times that my daughter's getting on off the bus for the high school. I have seen a lot of cars there for barbecues in the summer, which I've seen a lot of cars in a lot of other houses too.
Yep.
My neighbor on the other side of me just had a baby shower, and they had people parking on both sides of the road, so it narrowed the road down to one lane.
Yep.
It happens. We live in a residential neighborhood. Those things are going to happen. There's another family that lives farther down Old Farm Way that, for some reason, they have two cars that are parked on both sides of the street, right across from one another, at all times. I don't understand. Why can't one just park 20 feet up? You know what I mean? We're always going to have these sorts of complaints in residential neighborhoods, but the thing is, I think we just need to be more neighborly with each other. So maybe instead of just throwing out a complaint, calling the town, maybe go talk to a neighbor, find out what's going on. I gotta tell you, I haven't seen any sort of public safety problems. And I'm also a police officer. I'm a police supervisor in Leominster, and I've been doing public safety stuff for a while. And I haven't seen any sort of public safety issues that have taken place within that area right there. But if someone does park on a sidewalk, if someone parks within X amount of feet, whatever the law is in this town, of a stop sign, or somebody's blocking traffic, call your neighbor and tell them, or call the police, and the police will go up there and they'll deal with it and they'll fix the problem. That's what they do. But I don't think that just because of the fact that those options are there, that they should be bypassed. That's all. All right?
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Sir.
Nick Mancini, 45 Partridge Run. I don't foresee a problem with the petitioner's request. I live on 45 Partridge Run. I have the luxury of working from home, and I live at the end of the cul-de-sac, and I see hardly any traffic up and down my street. And like I said, I work from home, and I see it all. Regarding, she's got an established business from Devon's, from what I understand, never had any issues. She wants an established business at home because of her illness, God bless her. I think we need to come to a resolution, put orders and conditions, maybe give her a 6-month trial. If she's in violation in any way, she has one. My sister-in-law's a hairdresser in Connecticut. She has one chair. She has one car in her parking lot at all times. Now, if you see 3 or 4, then you know something's going on.
Sure.
So put some order and conditions, 6 months stipulation, 3 months stipulation. Go from there. If she's in violation in any way, then yank the permit.
Okay. Thank you, Miss.
Hi, my name is Eileen Tiernan, and I'm the daughter of my parents.
Okay.
I just wanted to really stress that this was not the ideal situation for us. You know, my mom sold her business because of her illness, and I don't really think anyone really understands. Sorry, it's an emotional thing
No,
for me.
understood.
Understands the severity of what she goes through, but we never ever wanted to create, you know, disturbing the peace. And I have to say that in our home, we each have a car. I have a car, my brother has a car, and both my parents have a car. So 4 cars is constantly in our driveway. So when we do have one person over, that's 5 cars in our driveway. So I'm sorry if it seems that we're creating problems, but my mom and my family, she's a mother of a 7-year-old, so she knows what safety is all about, and she knows she doesn't even take clients when the buses come because she's bringing her daughter to the bus. So it's like she's very accommodating, and she would never try to put, you know, any child in danger. And I understand that we have a lot of people in the neighborhood, and she acknowledges that we are humans. We're caring people. We're not going to have strangers drive around reckless or invite people in our home that we know is untrustworthy. I really just want to, in my 21 years of living, I know my mom works really hard, and she's never ever really gotten to be home. And this is a sad reason why she is home for the first time, and it's because she's sick. And I beg you, please, don't take this away from her, because this is what makes her happy, please.
Understood. Thank you, Ms. Tiernan.
And I want to reiterate, it's one chair. It's
Yep.
going to be one car at a time. We're not talking about a convenience store. So let's have some common sense,
Yep.
in all due respect.
Yep, thank you.
That I would be worried if it was a convenience store.
Sure, thank you. Sir?
I just want to say, I like Mr. Mancini's idea of the 6-month like probationary period as far as, you know, to regulate. I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
The other thing that I forgot about was, have you ever had this situation in town? Has the zoning board dealt with something like this before? And what were the steps that were taken? What type of business was it?
I'm sure we have dealt with it. I've been on the ZBA now for just over 2 years. I can't think of an example off the top of my head. Ron, you've been here a little longer than me. Can anything come to mind?
Yes, there have been, not to this, I mean, there's a measure of public support as well as opposition here. I've never seen this many people show up. So,
Right.
I mean, and they're living in a neighborhood, we're talking about a primarily a residential neighborhood.
Yep.
All right, you just asked the question, I'm just.
No, continue, please.
Deliberate
Please.
and deliberate on this matter.
Okay.
Through the chair, can we ask a petition of what our hours of operation are going to be? Is it going to be Monday through Sunday, Monday through Sunday? Is it a weekend thing?
Sure. Mr. Tiernan?
She only has people come in Tuesday to Saturday.
Tuesday to Saturday.
Never on Sunday and Monday, and
Okay.
and not usually every day anyway.
Okay.
So state that if you would.
The number of clients that she has, if you average it out, you know, a client comes in every 6 weeks or so. And if you average that, I don't know what the exact number is, but if you average that out over a month and a half, it's not even a client a day.
Yep.
You know, it's except for one girl that's a close friend of hers that comes in twice a week.
Sure. Okay. Absolutely. All right. At this point, I'd like to throw it to the board and kind of get your ideas. Ron, I think you started there. You want to continue?
Well, this is primarily a residential neighborhood. You can see that part of it. And I would also be concerned about property values, things like that, disclosures in real estate sales. I don't know if that's true, but there have to be some. They're tightening down on the types of disclosures in real estate sales. I know that.
Okay.
So this would be a detriment. And part of the I don't have, forgive me, I don't have the preamble to this zoning bylaw. Part of it is, but as I recall, it states that essentially you're supposed to, if you're going to have a home business, it's supposed to be an invisible one practically.
Yep.
You know, no advertising, you know, no undue traffic, no deliveries and pickups, and you know, other than you would have by the postal service or you know, this. So it's supposed to be invisible, and I have to. What else was I going to say? I mean, obviously you've got, you know, the petitioner brought up the idea of the democracy here. I mean, it's true that, you know, and maybe we have to take his word for it that most people approved of it, but the fact that there are people here that show up for it, it's like town meeting, you know, if they're serious enough to show up, they, you know, pro and con.
Yep.
That's more than just a poll. They take some time off from work. This is probably a bad hour when you're coming back from work. Probably hungry. But so I have to recognize the fact that we have quite a showing here.
Sure.
And what their relative comments are.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I would advise the board that the main concern in allowing, you know, one more thing, I wish it would seem that they shouldn't require a permit at all. If it is truly limited to just family and friends and acquaintances and occasional type things, then, you know, I don't know, I would challenge that. Trouble is when we give a permit, then it becomes a business. And then it has to.
Well, according to the building commissioner, she is getting money even if it's just to cover her costs. That's what triggers business in this instance. I mean, it could be different. Someone said IRS regulations. As soon as she takes money, then that's for the building commissioner's purpose. So she would need a permit in that instance.
But is that in the bylaw? The fact that any consideration is taken from? Isn't the purpose of the bylaw is to cause no further damage to a neighborhood or something like that, or to maintain
Having acceptable probable effects on the existing uses in terms of noise, traffic, or related impacts. So, acceptable probable effects.
So it has nothing to do with the nature of the neighborhood. It's really, you know, like in other types of zoning considerations, we consider the effect on the neighborhood, and the sense of the character of the neighborhood,
yep.
That sort of thing. So that's all it says.
Yes. No, that's all it says. Like I said, having acceptable probable effects on the existing uses in terms of noise, traffic, or related impacts.
Yeah, related impacts is the
right.
It could be anything.
Yep. John, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts were going in that if I lived in the neighborhood, I would have an issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
But clearly, everything. I mean, this is allowable home occupation based on the parameters that are given in the law.
Mm-hmm.
No signage, no excessive staff, and there's parking for one staff member and one customer, and that's what it specifies.
Yep.
And most variances that are granted due to some extenuating hardship.
Yep.
But that's typically more long-lasting for boundary infringement and that kind of thing, where it's going to be permanent. I don't really see any reason to deny this variance.
Okay.
Special permit.
Excuse me?
Not
Special
variance.
permit.
Special permit.
It's not a variance.
No.
It's
Special
a
permit.
special permit.
I have no objection to a special permit.
Great. Thanks, John. Jess, how about you?
Been back and forth on this.
Mhm.
On the one hand, I do appreciate the maintaining of the integrity of a neighborhood.
Sure.
This isn't primarily a residential neighborhood, it's only a residential neighborhood.
Right.
On the other hand, I do believe in extenuating circumstances. And this is, I would consider it if we could really put very specific limits on the number of clients a day, therefore the number of cars, or,
Is that something
Well,
that's normally
here's
done?
my only issue with that is if you say, you know,
yeah.
as Ms. Tiernan said, there are 4 vehicles at the house, right?
Right.
For us to say there can be no more than, I saw the driveway. If the driveway holds 8 cars, right? For us to say there can't be more than 8 vehicles, you know, and say we take Mr. Mancini's advice and we did a Tuesday to Saturday, you know, special permit. To say the Tiernans can't have more than 8 vehicles at their house, you know, between 8 and 4, Tuesday to Saturday, I think that's overstepping anything that we can do. Again, that's just my opinion on the limiting of the parking.
But the parking's already addressed.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
agree.
already addressed, so I don't really think we have anything to say about that.
Yeah, I agree with you, John.
And logically, I don't see them exceeding that.
Right.
Because number one, there's not going to be a staff member, she's going to be sole proprietor, and secondly, that would leave room for 2. One who may be there and one who may be waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's well within the specification that we're given.
Okay.
Number of hours, I did see number of hours, but it was none addressed to these specific permits.
Right.
It was more all, 9 p.m. to dusk, and that was more in much more commercial areas. I didn't really see the hours of operation in home occupation. Is that addressed in the?
No, so you can put conditions on it. So you could say hours of operation can only be between 10 and 5 or whatever, Tuesday through Saturday. So if those aren't adhered to, if the neighbors believe that on Sunday night she's cutting hair, having clients, I mean, Sunday night would be hard, but you'd contact the town and the town would have to, our building commissioner would investigate it. But you can put conditions on the permit.
Yeah, I was going to say to that point, I'm fine with conditions, but as far as people at the house, I mean, what's to stop somebody from saying, "Wow, Sunday night there were 8 cars at the house. I think she was cutting hair."
Right. That's why I, again, with the parking for the special permit, I agree with John. You certainly have enough parking. I don't think that's an issue.
I mean, we're fine with hours of operation. She doesn't, like I said, she can only work limited hours anyway. I mean, we're fine with that. But what I'm afraid of is if you put that stipulation, then people are it's going to leave it open to someone who, and
Sure.
I'm not saying anyone would do this,
No.
but it's going to leave it open to someone who was really, really angry
Mm-hmm.
to just constantly be calling and saying, Saturday night, 8 cars,
Yep.
Sunday night, 5 cars.
I don't think so.
I don't either. But
I don't see that.
but as we can
I'm
see,
just saying I'm just saying that
right.
it
And
could.
my point
The
is,
traffic was real. It bothers me that he keeps acting like it wasn't, and I empathize with her illness.
Mhm.
But I'm also trying to sell my house as well.
Yep.
We're retired. We have no more income. We want to sell our house, and so now we're going to take a cut in our house price. I understand that. But the traffic was real. People came in, went in the house, came out, left. The traffic was regular, on a regular basis, and whether anybody saw it or not, I saw it. And I saw it because I work at my window. It really bothers me that he keeps saying that we're going to say that they have. I didn't know they had anything going on. I knew something had to be going on because people kept pulling in and turning and parking. You keep saying we're going to do things or people are going to do things to him. It's just not the case. We understand your situation.
I didn't say
It's-
anyone
it's
was going to
really
do
hard
anything.
to
I
be
said
one
that
way or
it
the
leaves
other.
it open to that.
all right.
Jeez.
Jess, go ahead.
One of the things in the application itself asks for allowance for home occupation hairdressing. And I know the thing that was sent around to the different boards refers to allow for a home occupation permit for a hair salon.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a distinction between a single person doing hairdressing versus a salon, which would be construed as a business? Because my understanding is there are state laws about the functioning of a hair salon.
Right, so that, for this purpose, for zoning, Ayer zoning board of appeals, there's no difference. That's a license issue with the state.
Okay. So we don't have anything to do with the state
No.
issues?
No.
Okay.
All right. Well, with that, I think it's at least clear to me that if we were to award any kind of special permit, there would be conditions to it. I think at this point that's where we're at. Again, in terms of the parking, I think they're covered. I do understand the concerns about traffic.
Well, you know, I will just say that there may be a lot of cars parked there, but I can't believe there would be 6 people sitting there waiting for
On a
2
one
hours
chair.
while somebody else got their hair done. I mean, that's really not what the cars are about.
Yep.
I mean, I just can't see that's the issue.
I would move. I'll propose this. The Tiernans, have clearly communicated with their neighbors what's going on here. I think if we did award a special permit, Mr. Mancini did mention a 6-month trial period.
I don't know that you can put a trial
No,
period on
and
this.
besides, if they're in violation of any of the rules pertaining to this,
They'd be back.
it's not going to take 6 months. I
Right.
mean, they still have to follow the letter of the law. And whether it's 6 months or 6 years, if they don't follow it, they're in violation.
That's a good point, John.
I believe you can put order of conditions. I came from Medford, which is a larger city involved in
You
government.
can put
We are.
You
conditions
can put
on.
stipulations in order, if they
Well,
violate.
that's true, but
You can.
Right,
but
but
as
you-
far as violation in time doesn't matter. A
But even
violation
if
is a
they grant
violation.
it, they pass the probationary period.
There is no
If we all notice
probationary
something going on,
period on a special
however
permit.
you want to word it.
Yeah, but yeah, you can limit, again, time, place, manner, so how many cars is already addressed.
Yep.
You can do hours of operation, clients per day, you can't do
Yeah,
that.
that'd be-
But I would say hours of operation and employees.
Okay.
Employees, that's also addressed.
Yeah, that's addressed too, so it would be hours of operation.
Okay.
Excuse me,
Sure.
employees has been addressed?
Because a home occupation can have no more than 2 non-family members.
Ooh, that's what I was asking about earlier. That what is allowed? And we could have employees now? So I wasn't too bent out of shape about this. I only found out that this salon was happening when I got the letter. And I live right across the street, okay? So I really wasn't too, but now I'm finding out that we could have employees. And I don't care, these folks may say, oh, we're not gonna have employees, but that's what happens. That's why we have rules, regulations.
Well, that's what the law stipulates. 2 non-family members.
So they could have employees.
They could.
You're saying you won't.
Sure, we could put that in there. Yeah,
Yes.
we could. That could be
I
That's
know.
why I
stipulated.
asked earlier.
If I have employee, I telling you, if I can run the business, I wouldn't force my successful business to fail. And I have to deal with stress like this.
Mhm.
I don't like this idea from beginning because
She would-
I want business, home is home. But just because something
Sure.
I want to do this, so don't think about sitting there and thinking about, oh, it's hurt here, it's hurt there. I just want to get that off my mind.
You're
That's
wonderful.
that's what I want.
I don't wanna deal with any employee, I don't wanna deal with
Perfect.
anything like that.
That
So
makes,
what do you do? You stipulate owner operator only?
correct.
Yeah, you put it in the
There will
conditions.
be no, there will be no.
And if furthermore, just
employees.
practically, if she were to add, say she was gonna add employees, she'd have to add chairs. She would need a building permit.
Should have to come
Yeah.
before.
Yeah,
We
you
don't
wouldn't
have-
have to come before the board per se, but you'd have to go through the building department. So if the building commissioner sees that we've limited it here to one hairdressing chair, then he wouldn't let a building permit go through. So that's another I would say one chair.
Sure.
So
In the
one
conditions.
hairdressing chair and that's it, no other services, no nail,
No employees.
no nail services?
Massages, nothing like that.
For hair cutting only.
Is that
Oh, so-
correct? Hair
But
I
she
have,
does a
I
couple of
have a couple of
manicures.
manicure.
Okay.
That she does. A couple of people have manicures.
No employees.
No employees. No employees.
And since they don't want any more business, no advertising?
Well,
I don't
we
advertise.
don't
I
advertise.
never
don't
wanna
know-
advertise.
I don't know what you think this advertising.
On Facebook? It's on Facebook. So don't.
Yeah.
don't
It
be
says-
advertising.
Advertising.
What does it say?
It shows your hours, it says, press this button to
That's
book
when
a.
she was working
That's
on
from
Park
the
Street.
previous Park
So we can take it down?
Yeah, absolutely.
I will take it down, yes. If you want me to take it down, I will take it down.
That was when she was working on Park
But
Street.
even if it was
Before she-
advertised at Park Street,
All right.
that's where people would go.
I have to rein it back in here.
Yeah.
At this point,
Get it.
at this point, I think we've had input, on both ends. I'd like to. Does anybody from the board have any further input? Jess, Ron.
Well, so we could put in no employees, we could put in, remove any outside references on Facebook to hours of operation, pricing, or anything like that, so there's no external references.
Like I said, the
Both
only
ends
thing
and
that she
stipulations.
does is she posts pictures of her work on Facebook, but she does that for, like I said, every meal she cooks at home. We look at her Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
Every meal she cooks at home, that's what
But
she
it's on the
does.
Glam by
So
Lena.
fine.
There's
That
pictures
is-
from 2
This
weeks
is
ago.
That is
It's,
Guys.
it's all on the same site.
That's from
No, they're
her
from when they
old,
went there as well.
that's from her old.
Is there any reference to what's your address, 292?
There's a
249.
picture.
No, there's
There's
a
a picture
reference
of-
to them being, having
I
services
understand.
done during now.
Is there
during
any
this
reference to
time.
advertising
That-
within?
that-
Never,
Never,
Just
never.
like
There's
this.
never address on
I
All right.
never.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I understand. Do we have a motion at this point?
Why don't
We
you
have
list the
to, we have to
conditions?
Sure.
word the motion with the stipulations, so
Sure.
let's get it
So-
well defined
so-
before we make it a motion.
So far, I have one hairdressing chair. I have no employees other than the owner.
Mm-hmm.
And then hours of operation, we need to, if we're gonna put that in, we have to define a time. And
Do we want to define a time?
or days, at least.
Yes.
Weekdays only. No
Well, I mean,
weekends.
I think she does operate on Saturdays.
Understand that, but in order to.
Tuesday through Saturday is when she.
That's pretty standard. Are you guys okay with that? I know my sister-in-law's a hairdresser. They're open Tuesday to Saturday. That's the standard.
And she won't open before the bus stop finishes, or she doesn't, because she has to take my daughter to school anyway, so she never does that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we need a time then. So
Tuesday to Saturday. Do you have a time,
You know,
Mr. Chairman?
I guess probably
10?
9.
I always do, no, I do 10.
10,
There's no way I have time to
10 to,
bring the
10 to
kids.
6.
10 to 6. That's fine.
And she's not, she can't even work there.
Yeah, I can't.
I
work that
understand.
hour
No, she
anyway.
works from 10 to 11, then she rests till noon.
Sure. I think it's a
Sometimes
fair
I don't
window.
work for 10, I work until 1 or 2 o'clock.
Guys, do we have any other conditions that we'd like to put in?
Um,
Okay.
Removal of website, Facebook references.
no, that we-
Yeah, I think that's a bit of an overreach.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, well, what are the other standard conditions of the bylaw? No signage,
No signage, correct?
That's already in the bylaw, so we don't need to include that.
we address parking.
Mm-hmm. That's in the bylaw as well.
You know, one of the things that's in the
Should it
bylaw,
be-
it says no
should it be-
signage other than the announcement. And then you try to search for the
That's
definition
implicit
of
in
the
the
announcement,
bylaw,
and
but
there
should
isn't
it
one.
be mentioned?
That's why the planning board needs to get on this.
I don't know, Ron.
Yeah, all right.
Again,
All right, you can reference the bylaw.
Sure.
All the other conditions of the bylaw.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
So let me just recap. To allow for the special permit with the following conditions. Only one hairdressing chair, no employees other than the owner, and hours of operation would be Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 6.
10 to 6.
So motioned.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Doesn't fully address everything.
Well, so if Ron voted no, it doesn't pass anyway. Because it has to be unanimous in this instance.
Okay.
Special permit.
Okay, with that, the motion does not pass. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Next steps for the Tiernans in terms of a special permit.
So where this is a special permit, this is dictated by state law, has to be with a 4-member board, it has to be unanimous, and 1 member voted no, so therefore it doesn't pass. So that's it. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know, I'll have to look in and I can follow up with Lena on if you were to reapply, it would be a whole new process to start over again.
Be honest with you, first of all, I don't think I have money.
Yeah.
Because I don't work.
Reapply.
Yeah.
And then I can't
She
not go
doesn't have the
stress
energy.
like
This
that.
stress is too much for her to go through this. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, it's just, that's the
Yeah,
state
no,
law with the
that's the
special
way it is,
permits.
that's the way it is. I think it's just, you know, she's been doing this since November. Nobody complained about traffic, nobody complained about anything until the dumpster was outside. It's my fault because I said to her, stop doing it in the middle of the hallway, and it'll make a little feel. And then people saw this doing, and then everybody
That's not
started
true.
going crazy.
That's
It's
not
true.
Well, at this point, it's
doesn't
been
matter.
decided now.
Yeah, it doesn't,
Yeah.
okay,
So-
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for your consideration, everyone.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So now,
What a sin.
it's closed now, but what was your concern there, Ron? That wasn't where I thought we were at. What was your big concern there?
You're transforming the neighborhood. If you could limit it to family, it's just something you did for an occupation, just to keep you busy, that's different. You know, it should be challenging the fact that I'm working for
You know the plow guy that does my road?
you can still do that for families.
Yeah. Okay.
And if anybody bitches about it, then it says it's family and friends. I have the right to do that, I have the right to do that.
But I'm sure that's
Or
what they
anything
said,
else.
and
Now you've
it got
now
sent
you've
up the
got-
tree to the
But
building
it's
commissioner.
rather impressive that so many people show up as well.
Yeah.
You know, people don't give a shit in this town, they won't
We're
come.
still on camera.
All right.
Do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
No. You have a motion to approve the meeting
Well, we gotta
of
close it.
February 15th.
We got to close the public hearing first.
Oh, I'm sorry, public hearing, yes.
Yep.
Motion to close
motion
the
to
public
close.
hearing.
Do we have a second?
Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I thought you were sending me home.
No.
Okay,
All right, approval of the meeting minutes. Anybody take issue with them?
I read the minutes, I took no issue.
Great.
Same.
Do I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes of February 15th?
I have a motion to approve the meetings of February 15th.
All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Carly, do we have any applications for next month yet?
We may have one,
Okay.
but, yeah, I haven't got it, so it'd be April, whatever it's at.
April 19th, yeah.
The 19th at 6. But I'll keep you posted, because they still have some time.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So I have a motion to adjourn?
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
There it is. Do I have a second?
Shut up, Bill.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.